Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Build Muscle and Burn Fat podcast. Believe it or not, this is actually the third time I've tried recording this exact episode. The first one I talked for about 5 minutes, realizing that the microphone wasn't turned on. The second time I talked into it for about 2 minutes and it still wasn't working. And I filmed them more as well. And now the third time it's actually working. I've tested it. So for those of you out there, I hope that made your day. I don't know how your day is going when you listen to this episode, but just know that I am not on the point right now. Anyway, I'm going to talk about today's podcast to be about supplements. This was a question asked by one of my clients that is currently in my Team Momentum one-on-one training group. And basically, knowing more about supplements is going to help you understand where you can start to improve as well. Now, first and foremost, I think supplements is one of those things that can definitely take you a little bit further, but it shouldn't be something that you rely on all the time. What I mean by this is how you use it. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up into two sections. The first section is going to be the ones that I would say are more important. The second part is going to be things that you can kind of have for fun, and they still will help you. But the first thing I need to kind of tell everyone out there who's listening to me right now, supplements are not going to get you to where you need to be. They will enhance what your actual determination and your foundations are right now. So if you are not eating wholesome base foods, if you are sleeping like crap, if you are not training very hard in the gym, these things won't do much and you're going to piss away a lot of money. Now I say that with a lot of enthusiasm because I was one of those people. I used to spend somewhere upwards of $500 to $600 worth of supplements per month when I was younger and I had expendable cash because I had no house to worry about or bills to pay. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit more experienced, I like to think, and a little bit more knowledgeable, I realized that I could have got away with so much less if I just focused on my nutrition, my sleep, and my training. But there's nothing I can do about that now, but I can only share the knowledge with you. So first off, let's actually start talking about some of the more essential ones. And what I mean by essential, I did do that with my finger ear things that kind of dictate that it's not all that important, but they can definitely get you further. So the first one I'm going to show you is, or share with you, should I say, is protein, whey protein. Now, back when I first started, if you walked into a supplement store, you would get a guy going, oh, what's your goal? It's like, I want to build some muscle. Who will walk across the gym store, kick something at you and go, hey, look, you're skinny. You should probably take some of this protein right here with no real explanation. You take his word for it and you just drank it. And you came back and you bought some more. Today, I want to give you kind of more of a breakdown on why certain things are the way that they are and actually teach you why certain things are going to help you as opposed to virtually kicking a product at you and say, go take it. So protein now these days, if you need to understand what it is, whey protein specifically is actually a byproduct of when milk is pasteurized. So it's actually all milk based. Now, when it comes to that, some people think that whey protein is some sort of drug. It really isn't. It's just a byproduct of milk. So if you drink milk, whey protein will probably help you out as well. Now, when it comes to this, when I have my whey protein, I like to have it either post-workout, which they used to say had an anabolic window because if you didn't have your whey protein shake within 30 minutes of your anabolic window after you trained, or your training was put to absolutely no use at all. If you still think this is it, yeah, that's not true. Yes, there is an actual window where you can get more optimal out of it if you eat something or have a protein shake afterwards, but nothing will happen. It's not going to cause your whole workout to be put to waste without having your anabolic window covered. So that's the first thing with whey protein. I like to have mine post-workout within an hour or two if I can. The second thing with whey protein is you can also use it to supplement your poor nutrition or your lack of accessibility to protein. Because if you think about it, if you really think about it, whey protein, or protein should I say, is the hardest one to kind of carry around and prepare. If you go to the shops, you kind of have to cook it. If you're trying to go out for dinner or lunches, it's probably the most expensive one. So how do we actually start to get protein in every single meal? So with whey protein, this is where it can come in handy. If you know you're going out and you know that protein is going to be a little bit more expensive when you go out, have a shake before you head out for dinner. Another one is when you're at the end of your day and you know, and you should know where you are if you're very serious about this. If you know about 20 to 30 grams below your target, all you have to do is shake it up, drink it, and that's it. Now, there's a few things you need to know about protein shakes. You shouldn't be relying on it 100%. I knew someone who drank somewhere upwards of 4 or 5 protein shakes per day, not eating any food, thinking that this is going to help them. This is not the case. What actually ended up happening was the person coughed up blood, so please don't do this. If you're going to have protein shakes, I would aim for 1 to 2 scoops per day and no more than 50% of your daily intake. So if you know that you need to have 4 servings of protein per day, don't have 3 scoops of protein. At most, you should have 2. For the guys out there, you might be having upwards of 8 protein servings per day. Don't have more than 3 or 4. There's a few reasons for this. Yes, there's going to be some chemical imbalances, which I cannot tell you because I'm not smart enough. But I can tell you anything of one thing is too bad of a thing. So even if you have everything whole-based foods, mentally, you might be missing out. This goes the other way with supplements too, with whey protein included. So have everything within balance. Now, there are a few more suggestions when it comes to protein shakes than there were back in the day when I first started. Basically, when I first started, it was either whey, which was a milk, and it was whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate. Now, I need to double check this because I don't actually sell supplements, I just use them. Whey protein isolate is a little bit more refined and you can use this and it actually digests a little bit better. Whey protein concentrate is not as much as processed or heavily refined as much, should I say, so it may digest a little bit harder on your stomach. Now these days though, you've got so many more other terminologies which I couldn't really tell you more, including hydrolyzed whey, which I think means digests a little bit better, to even other things like vegan-based proteins, animal-based proteins as well. So there is so much more out there that you could probably try and see what works for you. Now, if you want a recommendation on some of my supplements, here are some of the ones that I use. I use whey protein from Gold Standard Optimum Whey Nutrition. Let me say that one more time. The brand is Optimum Nutrition and the product is called Gold Standard Whey. This is something I used for something up to 10 years before I changed. And the reason why was because it was basic. It was actually very affordable and the vanilla ice cream is probably the one that I use the most. Double choc rich is also not bad. Now these days I do have a little bit more expendable cash being a little bit older as I was when I was younger. So I like to buy things that I actually enjoy. So one of the ones that I enjoy in terms of branding is EHP Labs. And the one that I actually really enjoy from that one is the peanut butter crispies, if I'm not wrong. But have a check into that, it tastes really good. Now last but not least, my favorite one that I like to have if I'm craving bubble tea is actually my good friends from Far East Alchemy. They have bubble tea based flavored protein shakes, including taro, as well as durian, white bunny for Chinese New Year for this year of 2023. So all I can say is I actually use these brands. Check them out if you want to. There's also discount codes to have the access to these brands in the description as well. So now that we've covered protein, the second one that I actually highly recommend is creatine monohydrate. Now creatine is one of those supplements which is actually natural, and also saying that creatine has a lot of research. It's probably the most heavily researched supplement that we have. Now creatine monohydrate, where can you find it if you don't want to supplement it? You'd be looking at red meat essentially. So if you happen to be vegetarian, this is a very hard one for you to get into your diet. Even if you aren't vegetarian as well, it's actually going to take kilos and kilos of red meat for you to eat per day. By the time you actually get the amount of creatine that you need, you'd be beyond full. So creatine monohydrate is definitely something that you would need to look into. Now, where does the essence of creatine actually happen? There are 3 energy systems, and this is where I'm going to dork out a little bit. There are 3 energy systems, and one of them is called the phosphate creatine system. Phosphate creatine system actually uses creatine itself to actually generate high amounts of power and explosive energy. So this is somewhere between 0 and 5 reps. Now you're probably thinking, when am I going to use this? If you happen to be in strength-based sports, this is a great supplement to have. If you happen to be someone who is doing general health training as well, this could help you get those extra reps in. But then saying that, newer research has actually shown that creatine has helped in other ways apart from just those 0 to 5 second spurts of energy, or bursts of energy, should I say. So some of them have included mental health. They said that for a clinical trial has done this on people who have had depressive symptoms, and they had better moods and scores later on as well. Another one actually found that people had better overall energy. Some other places have actually even seen increased metabolisms as well. Now, like I said, this is heavily researched, but at the same time, take it with a grain of salt, or don't actually take creatine with a grain of salt, drink it with water. So if you were to get creatine, I would get the cheapest one possible, because to be honest, most of them are very much the same. Creatine monohydrate, whichever you want to use. And I would say that you only need to take 5 grams per day, every day. Treat it and drink it with like your caffeine, drink it with your water, drink it with your first workout of the day, whatever it might be, make a routine out of it. Now for myself, and I'll go through my supplements once again later in the day, but this is me jumping ahead a little bit. Every morning I wake up, I actually make myself a caffeinated drink, which I'll share with you later. I then also put in my creatine at the same time. Then after that, I drink it with my multivitamins for the day and my fish oils too. And this is just a routine that I do no matter what time of day it is, from 3 a.m. when I wake up and do my full-time job to 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the mornings when I have weekends or late starts. This is something that just helps me. And something I've realized about this is definitely my mood has increased. My recoverability has increased. Definitely, obviously, short bursts of energy have increased when I'm training as well, getting those extra reps out. But recovery, mood, energy, and daily energy, I actually find myself requiring less caffeine throughout the day. So I only drink 1 caffeinated drink in the morning, and I have a second one for coffee if I want to around 10 o'clock. And if I really need it, I have a non-stimulated pre-workout before I work out. All right, so far we have had 2 supplements. One is protein, another one is creatine monohydrate. This third one is actually something that's been recommended for a really long time, and I've delayed it for the longest of times because I've never had a problem with it. And this is actually sleep. So something that can help you with this is magnesium. Now, of course, I have been using this supplement for a little while, maybe about 2 months now, because I've been struggling with sleep. Bit of backstory with me and my sleep history. So in the last 5 years or so, I was a business trainer. Sorry, should I say I was a business owner, and I still am, but I was a personal trainer at a big box gym. And for those of you who don't know the lifestyle of a big box gym personal trainer, it's wake up early, train people all the way through till 10 a.m. if your business is doing well. You have a bit of rest, maybe in the middle of the day, you might have a nap. You stay at the gym or you go home, then you come back and you do it again at nighttime. You probably train people to about 8 p.m., then you go and sleep and you repeat from Monday to Friday. So my sleep patterns were very much off, and then I had another job on Saturdays and Sundays as well, so no complete days off. Now my sleep patterns were probably around 4 or 5 hours per day with a nap in the middle of the day. Very much a poor sign for me. Now fast forward to about 2022 December, I actually had a chest infection with a cough and I just could not breathe. So every time I lied down, I would sleep for maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then I'd start coughing into a fit, and this actually stopped me from sleeping, and it kept going on and on and on. Even when I wasn't sick, I started having very much sleep deprivation, and I just couldn't break that cycle. So I said to myself, okay, this is not going to last very long, or this is going to last very long, but I'm going to take things into my control. So the first thing I did was actually not the magnesium. It was actually turning off my phone at 7 p.m. to have a blue light blocker. So the energy saver mode basically, and you can do this on Samsungs and Androids. Not sure about iPhones, I'm sure there was a setting for it, but at 7 p.m. notifications started turning off unless it was emergencies. My screen would automatically turn into a blue light blocker, so blue light would turn off, and that would happen at 7 p.m. The second thing was I bought some blue light blocking glasses. Say that 10 times. Blue light blocking glasses, and I wore those 2 hours before I sleep, and that helped me, of course, get some sleep too. Now, the biggest one I also added on top of that was actually having some magnesium. So the magnesium drink that I went for was a brand called Adrenal Switch. No, it's not. It's called Switch Nutrition, and I think it's called Adrenal Switch. I need to double check that. I'll put it in the description box. I drink this roughly around 1 hour before sleeping, and I have found that it's helped a lot. Now, previously I used to have a lot of chamomile tea, but I don't think it has enough magnesium for me to actually feel the effects. So this one here actually helps me quite a bit, and I drink it 1 hour beforehand, and now I have a bit of a routine. And I think the underlying theme for a lot of this as well, and everything that I share, is about routine. Now, I don't have a whole story to tell you about sleep, I guess, after this. So I might do another one in the future. I might get a specialist to talk about sleep on the podcast. But with this one particularly, so powerful to have a magnesium drink if you don't already. Now, I never had a problem with sleep until I was a little bit older, so maybe 26 onwards. This is when I started to stress more about work and my career and my life and where am I going, to even now just not being able to get sleep because of a cough, as simple as that. So for those of you out there, if you struggle with sleep, magnesium might be the way to go. Add the blue light blocking glasses, not a supplement. And even on your phone as well, reduce your screen time, start reading a book, reduce your notifications, and turn off the blue lights. Now, those are the three that I would deem as my tier grade, my A grade tier, should I say, of supplements that you may want to use. But obviously still consider having a good nutrition, good workout pattern, and also looking after yourself as a person, not just as a machine trying to ingest as many supplements as possible. Now let's get to the fun stuff. Number one, in terms of the fun stuff, as I mentioned before, is a caffeine-based supplement. This could be in the form of pre-workouts, with caffeine of course, and one I like to use is called Pride by EHP Labs. Now, I used to be a bit of a stim fiend, should I say, when I was younger, so the more caffeine the better, but I found that caffeine wasn't the one thing I was looking at. I was actually looking for something that had a bit of a focus-based element to it, and this is why I like using Pride by EHP Labs. Now this one here has roughly around 150 milligrams of caffeine, so not on the high end, but it has a lot of focus-based supplements which I have no idea what they are, but I can tell you when I do use it, my pumps are great, my training's great, and I recover really well too, and it doesn't keep me up for too long. Now if I'm not using this one, I have another one that I use first thing in the morning, and it's more of a fun one like I mentioned, just to help me. And this one is OxyShred by EHP Labs too. So these two things, I either have one or the other. I don't have both on a given day. And I like to see which one will kind of fancy me. It depends if I have a first thing training session or if I'm just going to be working on the computer before I go about my day. So those are the two supplements I like to have. Caffeine can always help you. And to a certain extent, if you don't want to do this, by the way, you can just have normal caffeine tablets. You can even just have normal coffee, might I add. And there's nothing wrong with coffee, might I add too. But I like to have something a little bit on the sweeter side because I do try and reduce some sugar here and there. It's also whatever you depends gets you going. And some of these caffeine drinks have helped me get into a good mood and a great workout despite waking up a little bit more rusty than I should have. Another one that I like to do is what I call protein bars. Now protein bars, depending on your protein intake. For the ladies, I don't think this is too much of a worry. Because 3 to 4 protein servings per day tends to be pretty good. That's 1 per meal. For the guys out there, you might be needing upwards of like 6 or 7. And when you can't get those meals in, that's sometimes 2 to 3 palm-sized servings of protein per day. It can be quite hard on the stomach. So a protein bar can help you as a snack in between, pre-workout as well. So I like using Smart Nutrition bars, and my favorite flavor is the mango cream. Actually tastes really good. It has a nougat-based texture. And with the ones with fruits in it, most of them are freeze-dried, so that it's a little bit crunchy, a little bit sweet. Another one that I like is the coconut cherry. That's actually not a bad one. It tastes like a cherry ripe. Some people like them, some people don't. Personally, I think this is the best protein bar on the market at this point in time. Back in the day though, because I used to not have protein bars until recently, back in the day though, my favorite one was the Quest bars, but they've kind of changed their formula a little bit. So Smart Nutrition bars, you guys are doing good if you're listening to this. So with the fun stuff, we had protein bars, we had some pre-workouts and some caffeine. Another one is going to be greens. If you feel like you are depleted a lot with not eating your vegetables, a green-based supplement can help you with this. To be honest, I don't use one because I actually really enjoy eating my vegetables. Helps me keep full, helps keep the intestines nice and clean too. But if you feel like you're low in energy, and you don't get enough vegetables but add all fruit, vitamins and minerals through a greens-based supplement could help you out with this. Am I a specialist in this field? Not really, but at the end of the day, if you feel good, why not try it out? The last one I'm going to say, and I'm kind of speeding through these ones as well, but the last one I will add into this is going to be BCAAs and EEAs. Now, to be honest, I don't think most people should be having it. If you're having a greens-based supplement, you probably don't need BCAAs. But hear me out. For myself, I struggle with drinking water, I know, right? As a personal trainer, I kind of don't like drinking water. My wife makes fun of me all the time. I know the benefits of it. My skin feels better, my back feels better because of hydration, my muscles are feeling great. I recover better, I get better pumps. I digest better. I tend to get leaner when I drink more water. I just hate drinking water. So I was looking at BCAAs because they taste better. They taste and make my water taste better. And when I have a huge bottle that's roughly 1 to 2 liters, this may be all I need. If I can drink 1 scoop of BCAAs with my 1 or 2 liters worth of water, this makes me feel better. So for those of you out there, if you do struggle, try and find something like that if you want to. Now, is it cheaper than getting something else? Probably not. Other ways that you could probably get your water in include probably having some sort of zero cordial, or even just having a lemon in it. Anything that gives you a bit of taste to it. But for me, I need to really fix this, and I'm going to be like 100% honest with you. I don't know if BCAAs even do anything, but it does help me get at least 2 liters of water per day when I use them. And then I'm really guilty of that. I don't use it all the time. Well, I hope that was informative to you out there. If you found this episode really useful, well, I've got a bit of a prize for you. If you want to get any of those supplements that I mentioned before, you can head over to my friends at fbo.com. I think that's the website, but the brand is called Fat Burners Only. Ironically, they sell more than just fat burners. And if you use the code MOMENTUM, you'll get 10% off. If you wanted to get the bubble tea based protein powder as well, this is stuff that just tastes amazing. It tastes like a dessert. This, I can guarantee you, is cheaper than getting bubble tea, and it tastes just as good. No sugar, has actually got some lactate enzymes in it. So for those of you who happen to be lactose intolerant, you're gonna feel great. You're not gonna be as gassy, but I'm not lactose intolerant, so I don't know what that feels like. But that's a good place to start off if you want some good tasting protein powders as well. My favorite one is the Thai milk tea, Earl Grey, and taro. And you know what? They're all pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had one that I don't like just yet. And you'll be supporting small businesses as well. I know the owners of Far East Alchemy. They're really lovely people. I want to see them succeed too. I buy their products, might I add, and I really enjoy it. If you haven't already as well, you may have seen in my Instagram stories, I'm wearing this lovely purple hoodie. That's from Far East Alchemy, and it's probably my favorite hoodie. My wife tells me off for wearing it all the time because it's so soft, and I'm like, well, I want to wear it. But she goes, it's also 28 degrees Celsius in Perth. You don't need it. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, but I like it too much. So that's how much I can say they put into their attention of their quality of their products, and they have great service too. Follow them on Instagram if you just want to see what they're about. Anyway, team, if you want to buy stuff from them, you can also use the code MOMENTUM. You get, I think, 5% or 10% off. You get a small little discount, and you'll be supporting some really lovely people with big dreams as well. That's all I've got for everyone out there. I hope this list helped you out. If not, well, send me a DM and see what I can do. If you have any more questions, let me know. I want you guys to keep building momentum because momentum is key. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.